and gentlemen, welcome to the Dr. Joe Show with your host, the one, the only, the ever so handsome Dr. Joe Mirabella.
Hello. Hey guys.
Woo!
How's it going?
Woo! Yeah, Dr. Joe!
Hello everyone, good to see y'all came out today. On this episode of Dr. Joe, we're going to meet someone who has been researching a great deal of acids and bases. Here she is, a woman near and dear to my heart. The one and only Queen of Science, Miss Gianna Mirabella. Hi honey, how are you?
I'm good. I just flew in from Los Angeles and man, are my arms tired.
Ah!
Alright, so, anyways, like any good host, I decided that I'd write out a few questions about your topic. So, I'd like to ask them to you, but before we get into that, how about you tell us a little bit about what you're researching?
Alright, so today I'm here to tell you about my research about acids and bases, but instead of doing the wide variety of acids and bases, I focused more on acids and bases that are found in the home and how we use them in the home and how they affect us.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so my first question that I remember was, how are acids and bases used in the home?
Well, bases, first of all, are usually used as household cleaners. Bleach is a great example of a base in the home. And for acids, foods are a good example. Anything with a sour taste like lemon or vinegar, those would be considered acids that you can find in the home.
Okay. So my next question is, what are some acids and bases that shouldn't be mixed?
Okay. An acid and base mixture that should just not happen, no, is bleach with ammonia. And the chemical reaction that occurs is that the bleach decomposes to form a hydrochloric acid, which reacts with ammonia to form toxic chloramine fumes, which are very dangerous.
Alright. So my third question I wrote was, has there ever been a case to prove this, the question I just asked before?
In Bartow, Florida, a high school student named Kira Wilmot got assigned a project by her chemistry high school teacher. So that's exactly what she did. She put the toilet bowl cleaner in aluminum foil in a water bottle, and the day that it was due before school, some of her friends convinced her, test it out, we want to see how it works. So she tested it out. It didn't go exactly how she planned, and there was a little explosion. She ended up getting suspended from school and was having trouble facing the law and stuff. And it ended up that people all around the United States signed petitions for her to go back to school, that she was just doing a project. And it was just really interesting. Here's a straight A student just trying to do a chemistry experiment, and she's facing the law.
Ah, that's pretty cool. Well, okay, so moving on. Next question. What should you do if you come in contact with a reaction?
Good question. So, and also a very important question, because if you're in the scene of a chemical reaction, something like bleach and ammonia, it's a very dangerous situation. So the first precaution that you want to take is you want to evacuate. So you evacuate the area, and as soon as you're out of the area, then you call poison control. Tell them what two substances were mixed, what kind of things happened, if there was smoke, if there was chemical or physical changes, and they'll give you further instruction. Definitely wash your hands, clean out your eyes, shower, wash your clothes, and then a few hours later go back to the area that the reaction occurred and clean up the area, ventilate it, and make sure that all that toxic air is gone.
Okay. So, for those first four questions that were answered on Dr. Joe were pretty good questions and great answers. Gained a little knowledge. I hope you all did too. So, we're gonna hit a commercial break and come back with more questions.
Thank you.
Now, back to the Dr. Joe Show. Good to see you all. As you can see, we had a little change of scenery for the next segment after that commercial break. So our next segment on today's Dr. Joe Show, after we just asked 4 questions about acids and bases, we continue the topic of acids and bases, except now we're moving on to the next section of questions. So starting off here, with my 5th question is, what does chlorine do in the pool?
Alright, chlorine kills bacteria in the pool, and so as the chlorine is put in the pool, after a while, it once it's done its job of cleaning, it breaks down, and then it's safe to swim in because it breaks down into a single acid. And it oxidizes organisms, killing microorganisms and bacteria by attacking the lipids in the cell walls. And the pH level of pool should be between 7 and 8. So why don't we test this pool?
Let's go. Great idea.
Alright, let's see what we get. Looks pretty close.
Why are lemon and orange mixed with household cleaners?
Oh, that's a very good question. In fact, this is something I was very interested in, being someone that usually cleans my house. Obviously, oranges and lemons would be acids, so you're mixing the acid with the base.
Citric acid?
Yeah, it's a citric acid. He's so smart. Alright, so the substance that helps dissolve the stains and all the built-up residue, and that's what helps to get rid of it. So the base part cleans it, and the acid really gets get away with stains and really kill everything. And people like having these acids or the lemon or orange in their cleaner because it's natural. Instead of having harsh chemicals, it's natural and, I mean, not toxic. So it's a really good alternative.
Okay. Alright, next question. We have, but the next question, by the way, great job answering that.
Thank you.
How are household cleaners safe to use but harmful to your body?
This one was really interesting to me. So the cleaner is safe because unless you're like eating it or you're rubbing it over your skin, then it's really not going to harm you. But the part about the cleaner is the actual chemicals in it. Look for a cleaner that's biodegradable, non-solvent, has no phosphate, no petroleum, and that's the good stuff that doesn't harm you and you don't have to worry about, especially those that have babies in the house crawling around on a freshly cleaned area.
This is the last question of today's episode. So, what part of acids are bad for your teeth?
Have you ever eaten a lemon
I've eaten a lemon in my life.
and you notice that your teeth hurt?
My teeth hurt.
So I was like, I personally use Sensodyne toothpaste. So I was like, I have pretty strong teeth, so there must be something in when I eat a fruit or something, like strawberry or something with high acid, strawberry, lemons, apples, that gets to my teeth. And so I looked it up, and the acid breaks down tooth enamel. And when you brush your teeth daily, it the word I used. It softens the tooth enamel, and that's what makes it wash away. So the less and less tooth enamel you have, then the more sensitive your teeth are going to be to a little exposure to a lemon or acid type of thing.
Okay. Great job for that segment. I bet we all have gained a lot of intelligence about acids and bases. So it's good to, be able to give us a little more on the subject. So, that wraps it up.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Joe.
No problem. Alright, so wrapping up today's show, I just like to thank Gianna Mirabella for my guest to come on the show and tell us a lot about acids and bases and just show us her studies of acids and bases. Really, it was good for all of us. And I'd like to give her teacher, Ms. Storr, a shout out, teaching her all that information. And few things out of the show that's been going on in the world. The Wilmington High School hockey team pulling off a good win, back-to-back years, state champs, 3-2 against the Franklin, both years in a row. And Bruins going to the Stanley Cup, Boston Strong. Gonna try to win the cup for all those victims in Boston bombings. And lastly, we couldn't have done any of the show without the camera woman behind this camera right now.
Random dancing!
One and all to the Joey. I forgot.
What's up, you little schmush? Thank you. Next question I had was, what does chlorine do in the pool?
Chlorine.
Chlorine. I'm so sorry.